I would like to present some materials related to the conference held by Professor Axel Cleeremans about consciousness. First of all, I would like to present our very short theory explaining the essence of the phenomenon. So, at the heart of the ability to be conscious is the possibility to feel the qualia. It can be assumed that the essence of feeling of qualia is explained by the theory of Stuart Hameroff and Roger Penrose. This theory assumes that quantum processing occurs in microtubules of neurons of all neural cells of the brain. In order to be aware, we also need to feel our body. We must be able to remember various data about the world, including opinions about yourself, and importantly, be able to retrieve this data, that is, to realize mental imaginations. We realize also the image of oneself, shortly the self-image. For the possibility to imagination of oneself, circulation of impulses on many levels of the multi-level structure, including the parietal and prefrontal lobes. Necessary also to be able to explain what structure and processes are needed for the formation of the subject, the element called by the word self or I. McFadden, the author of the theory Conscious Electromagnetic Information Field Theory, points out, probably rightly, that when the state occurs that somebody consciously perceives something, not only a certain process is required, but also the existence of a spatial object. The realization of such a spatial object is possible thanks to electromagnetic field of the brain. This field is created in the such an object can be mentally identified with the subject, the mentioned self. In my opinion, yet, a particular element should be added to the explanation of the essence of consciousness. Being aware, we always pay attention, consider a specific chosen era. In other words, we focus attention on a certain field of matters. By a simple introspective experiment, it can be demonstrated that we can only have one area in the stream of consciousness. It is necessary to explain the neural basis of the process of focusing attention on a selected area. My first question: any next experience like something what can be named episodic event? Remember it in episodic memory, or any next opinion remembered in the semantic memory cause adjustment or modification of the file of the structure of the personal construct in the sense of George Kelly personal construct theory. These readjustments lead to the development of self-awareness or self-image. It means of consciousness. These readjustments can also strengthen or consolidate the feeling of identity. Therefore, they can also influence the owned prejudices. It seems to me that this readjustment strongly depends from the most early or emotionally most important basic constructs, something called scripts. So the question is, do you think that your theory could help to indicate some advices in preventing or elimination of prejudices? I will incorporate in this video lecture some images presenting the idea in a written form. Second question, to understand the phenomenon of consciousness, it's necessary to discern several components of the process. We should be able to explain the feeling of qualia and feeling of our body, so-called bodily consciousness. Next, recalling of memorized data in the form of mental images and also imagination of oneself is necessary. Third, the element responsible for the feeling of the self, denoted by the word I, is the essence of the feeling of subject. And fourth, in my opinion, we should also be able to explain the neural substrate, so-called neuroscience, enabling to focus the attention. Being aware, we always pay attention, consider a specific chosen era. In other words, we focus attention on a certain field of matters. By simple introspective experiments, it can be determined that you can only have one era in the stream of consciousness. It is necessary to explain the neural basis of the process of focusing attention of a selected era. So the question is, if the activity process of focusing attention to selected specific chosen era play a role in teaching oneself to be conscious.